question 4. Now we come to command of evidence quantitative. Okay. Now, this question is very similar to command of evidence textual. In fact, I would say this is much easier because you have a table that you can refer to, and numbers are always easier to understand than, something that you have to analyze. So here, basically, you have to read the passage, you have to understand the table or the graph or the data in the graph, and then answer a question. All right, let's look at the table. Participants' evaluation of the likelihood that robots can work effectively in different occupations. Okay. So the table is, telling us the likelihood of robots working in different occupations and, telling us how likely it is that they will succeed. Okay. So occupation first is, number 1 is news anchor. Television news anchor, somewhat or very unlikely, 24%, neutral is 9%, and somewhat or very likely, 67%. That's high, which means a lot of people think that a robot can be a television news anchor. In fact, it would be a successful television news anchor. Okay. So this is in favor of robots, this occupation. Okay, teacher. Again, very likely 47%, very unlikely 37%. So here also people feel that robots can make good teachers. Well, we'll see about that. Firefighter, very unlikely 62%, and likely it's 30%, which suggests that robots cannot be firefighters. A lot of people feel that they can't. Okay. Surgeon, again, very unlikely. A surgeon requires skills, a very high level of skills. So it is quite unlikely that a robot will be able to perform surgery. Well, maybe in the future, not yet. Tour guide, yes. Tour guide has a whopping 82%, which means a robot can be a successful tour guide. And we can imagine that this would actually work because all a tour guide needs is an understanding of the place, the history of the place that they're showing to tourists, right? So a robot can be fed the information about certain important places around the world, and they can just parrot that information back to tourists. So, yeah. All right, let's read the passage. Georgia Tech Robotics, I'm sorry about the pronunciation, Deara Bryant and Ayana Howard, along with ethicist Jason Borstein, were interested in people's perceptions of robots' competence. They recruited participants and asked them how likely they think it is that a robot could do the work required in various occupations. Participants' evaluations varied widely depending on which occupation was being considered. Okay, so the passage is basically telling us what the table is telling us. So people, they recruited participants to tell the researchers, what is the likelihood that robots will be able to occupy these, occupations. And participants evaluated them and gave a rating, okay, percentage rating. That's what the passage is saying. All right. So let's look at the question. Which choice most effectively uses data from the table to complete the example? Okay. So here, as you can see, we don't need to look at the passage. We just need to look at the table. That doesn't mean you can skip reading the passage. You have to read the passage, but pay more attention to the table. Okay, A says 82% of participants believe that it is somewhat or very likely that a robot could work effectively as a tour guide, but only 16% believe that it is somewhat or very likely that a robot could work as a surgeon. Okay, let's match the stats. 82% says yes to tour guide and 16% says yes to surgeon. Surgeon is 16%. A tour guide, 82%. Okay. B says 47% believe that it is somewhat or very likely that a robot could work effectively as a teacher. That doesn't match. Teacher, 47%. Okay. 37% of respondents believe that it is somewhat or very unlikely that a robot could do so. It just talks about, just one occupation. It doesn't consider a range. So we're looking for a range. Okay. The highest, lowest. All right. D. Sorry, C. 9% of participants were neutral about whether a robot could work effectively as a television news anchor, which is the same percent of participants who were neutral when asked about a robot working as a surgeon. Okay, so C is incorrect because although it does, compare survey participants' views of robots working effectively in two occupations, the percentages cited for television news anchor and surgeon are not the same. Sorry, are the same. They don't vary. Okay, they're pretty much the same. So as I told you, we're looking for a range. Okay, D is again incorrect because it focuses on only one occupation. That is firefighter. Okay, so it is incorrect. So the only logical option here is A. Is the correct option. Okay. So this is not only supporting the claim by contrasting two occupations, so the highest and the lowest, that survey participants gave widely divergent answers. So a huge range of answers. Like a lot of people are saying yes, a lot of people are saying no. Okay. That's why this is correct. All right.